All right. So once again, must say hello. It's your boy Mighty Lee, and tonight we'll be talking about Japanese candlestick patterns. So we must cover the basics in all things. Um, what are Japanese candlesticks? Where did they originate from? What kind of information they hold? And what can we learn from any candlestick at any given time on any given chart? So So candlesticks originated in Japan over 100 years ago, and before that, the West developed the bar and line charts. So before the candlestick um, charts, there were bars and line charts, and simply that's what people used to use um, in reference to analyze different price movements, right? In the 1700s, a Japanese man named Homoa discovered that while there was a link between price and the supply and demand of rice, the market was strongly influenced by the emotion of traders. Candlesticks show that emotion by visually representing the size of price moves with different colors. Traders use the candlesticks to make trading decisions based on regularly occurring patterns that help forecast the short-term direction of price. So, way before any commodity chart, any forex pair chart, they used to analyze the price of rice, the supply and demand of rice, and that's where this Japanese guy actually invented this candlestick pattern or these candlesticks, right? Um, in this presentation, I will show you, or I will actually define three types of um, representation of price. The first, the first type is line charts, and if you were present during our previous lessons, we spoke about the clarity that line charts gives. Um, we spoke about trends, trend lines, channels, and usually what we do, we actually switch over to line graphs to get a more precise drawing of trends, right? Simply because regardless of what type of trader you are, or regardless of your strategy, you need to be concise, you need to be accurate, and you need to be on that pinpoint, because the slightest mishap, if you don't have proper risk management, you probably blow your account. Right? So line charts give traders a clear visualization of where the price of a security, in this case we will just be talking about forex price. So it shows you where price has traveled over a given time period. Because the line chart only shows closing prices, they reduce noise from less critical times in the trading day, such as the open, high, and low. Since closing price are typically considered the most important, it is understandable to see why the line charts are popular with investors and traders. Other popular styles of charts include bar charts, candlestick charts, and point and figure charts. Traders can use line charts with other charts to help see the full technical picture. So some of the key aspects that I want you all to grasp from this is line charts only shows closing prices. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, It could be good and bad. It could be good in reference to you using this along with other types of charts, just as we used to draw trend lines and channels. We would switch over to the line charts, then switch back over to the candlesticks, right? Um, it could be bad in a way where you're just being tunnel vision and you don't want to analyze or do your analysis only on the closing of prices. Simple things as um, the opening of that candle, the highest point, which price actually attained within that specific time period, the lowest point, which price actually reached within that time frame, that time period is very important, especially if you're a technical trader. So the other type of chart are bars, right? A bar chart has few components, including the closing price on the right side of the bar and the opening price depicted on the left side of the bar. In these charts, the top of the vertical line indicates the highest price a security is traded at during the day, and the bottom represents the lowest price. Most of these examples, we are using the daily time frame. So each specific, in this case, bar represents 1 day, right? And on the left, you see the opening price, and on the right, you see the closing price. Me personally, I don't ever use bar charts. It's not really my thing. I'm not saying that it's not accurate. It just doesn't hold enough information for me personally. Um, most people, I'd say most people, some traders actually use it in the analysis. Unfortunately, that I am not one of those traders. So, unlike line charts, who only transmit closing prices, the candlestick transmit opening price, the highest price, and the lowest price, along with the closing price. So all this information is contained within one specific candle. So you could switch over to the daily time frame and you would get the opening price of that day, you'll get the closing price of that day, you'll get the highest price within that day, and you'll also get the lowest price within that day. It's important for us to understand the actual components um, within these candlesticks because it will be very crucial within our next lesson, right? So if you hover your mouse, this example here is TradingView, and I assume that all of us uses TradingView, right? If you hover your mouse, which should be across here over your candle, it would give you the opening price. O stands for opening price, H is highest price, L is lowest price, C is your closing price. They call it OHLC, right? And it all depends on your strategy, how you want to use this information. This information could be very beneficial, right? Here you have an example, a magnified example of everything right here. So within candlesticks, there are specific patterns as well, right? We'll speak briefly about just a few. There are hundreds though, and these patterns can be seen almost everywhere, but you have to be very concise. You have to be very concise, and you have to be able to cipher out the good candlesticks from the bad ones, right? Some of the candlestick that we use for reversal patterns have higher probability near support and resistance, right? Regardless if they are technical or historical support and resistance or fib areas. Once some of these patterns are seen at the support and resistance zone, you can start looking for reversal in price, right? um, some of these patterns you could use by itself, or you could use it in conjunction with technical indicators such as RSI, which signals if a price is overbought or oversold, TDI, MACD. There are a bunch of different indicators that traders actually use to help them recognize some of these reversals alongside these candlestick patterns. So the first candlestick we like to talk about is dojis, right? And more or less it's like it could be a T, it could be a cross, but the main attribute within these dojis, the opening price and the closing price have to be the same. If you look here on the left hand side, remember on the left side you would see the opening price, on the right side you would see a closing price, right? This candlestick actually has no body, right? So price open and close at the same given price. However, the highest price was maybe 4 or 5 pips higher, and the lowest price was probably the same thing, right? So the main attribute within dojis, price has to open and close within that same area, right? The second candlestick pattern we like to talk about are shooting stars, right? This is one of the most reliable candlesticks and obviously one of the most popular due to the fact that they are so easy to spot on any chart. The shooting star is a single candlestick pattern, and when it forms in an uptrend or in a resistance level, then it is considered as a bearish reversal pattern, and so you should be looking for a reversal, right? So the candlestick, the shooting star candlestick, has a tail which is almost 2 times its body. So this right here is the body. This is the opening price. This is the opening price. This is the closing price, right? This long tail shows you how far or how high price went within that specific time frame, right? So in conjunction with some of these candlestick patterns, remember you have to use other stuff where it's up to you as a trader, you know. You could use it by itself or you could use it in conjunction with other technical indicators. You have hammers, which is totally the opposite of shooting stars. You look for these in bearish trends, and these signals that bears are actually losing momentum. Yeah.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
So is it better to look for those reversal candlesticks like the hammer and the with the shooting star on higher time frames, more so like the 4 hour and the daily?
Actually, these candlestick patterns are the higher the time frame are, it's the stronger it is. So if you see a hammer on the daily time frame, expect a bullish reversal to last maybe 2, 3, or 4 days, right? No, if you're a technical trader and actually look for these, you do some homework, you do some research. Um, I think there are, so if you see a hammer, most of the time, if you trade that specific hammer, your take profit should be at least two um, time periods. So if you enter right after the hammer, you could hold a trade for two candlesticks at least before reversal. But that's with research though. It all depends on what kind of trader you are, what you're trying to achieve from that specific trade. You know, it all depends on what you're looking for. So the spinning top is something very similar to the doji, and you could look for them in bullish or bearish trends. And all this signal is, so let's say you're in a bullish trend and you see a spinning top. It signals that bulls are actually starting to lose control of that trend, right? Start looking for exits if you're already in a buy. If you're already in a long position, start looking for short, for shorting opportunities. These are some examples of spinning tops in bullish and bearish trends. This is personally my favorite candlestick pattern. The engulfing patterns are two candlestick patterns. For a bullish engulfing, you will see that the first candle is bearish, followed by the second candle, which is very bullish. And this second candle completely engulfs the first. So when these bullish engulfings form within a specific support region, start looking for a reversal. If you start to see these engulfing patterns forming at a resistance level, start looking for possible reversals in conjunction with your other indicators, of course, whether it be moving averages or technical indicators. I did some research on some of these engulfing patterns, and when you see a bearish engulfing or a bullish engulfing happen, price will almost come back to that region that was engulfed. So let's say you're in a bearish trend here, right? Coming down, you see a bearish trend. You see this engulfing pattern here, right? Bearish trend, bullish engulfing pattern, right? Price would almost, let's say 50 to 60% of the time, price would almost come back to this specific region before continuing its uptrend. So what I try to do, I try to wait. So as soon as I see the actual engulfing pattern paint, I put one position right here. I have a buy limit waiting right here. Sometimes it comes back, sometimes it don't, right? But it all depends on how patient you are as a trader, right? The Hermione candlestick patterns is is another candlestick pattern that is very effective in support and resistance levels. Um, it's very similar to the engulfing pattern candlesticks. Um, the first candle is a very bearish. Let's say for a bullish Hermione, you're in a downtrend, right? And then the first candle would be a bearish, which would be red, followed by a small bullish candle, which is quite short and is completely covered by the shadow of the first candle. When you see this in a downtrend or in an area of support, this will be your bullish signal. Vice versa for your bearish Hermione. Think of it as a pregnant mother carrying its baby.